Powered by Riverside.
Hello, all, and welcome to Journey Like Mine Podcast with a Purpose, episode 22. In this episode, I will be sharing my live, love, learn reflections, never taking the simple needs in life for granted. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are staying safe and healthy. The last few weeks for me has been a roller coaster ride with experiencing some really high highs and some really low lows. So let's get to it. What did I live through over the last few weeks? Well, specifically earlier this month, I celebrated my birthday. And for the first time, I did not want to go anywhere or do much. I actually asked my husband for us just to have a quiet dinner since it was a school day. But it was Labor Day weekend just before my birthday, and he finally convinced me to go to Las Vegas. And the reason why I ended up going was because I really wanted to see the Sphere. um, the Sphere is a dome with a virtual experience. And I'm kind of like a science geek. I love, all of the computer engineering behind things. And I really wanted to see what was it like to be in this immersive, virtual dome-like experience. And so we did get to go, and I have to say it did not disappoint. So if anybody is thinking about going to the Sphere in Las Vegas, if you're in the US, it is absolutely worth it, and it's even great for the kids too. I think the highlight for me was actually speaking to AI bots. Both my daughters actually got to speak to them, and I got to also speak to one of the bots, and it asked me a couple of questions. Why I'm in Vegas. Told them I'm celebrating my birthday before the actual day, and it actually wished me happy birthday in its own way. And hopefully soon I'll be able to share that little video where you can see how it wished me happy birthday. Usually, when we go to Vegas, I have everything super planned. And this time, I actually just went a little bit easy. And what I realized is that I actually enjoyed myself a little more. Now, don't get me wrong, I still had to figure out what we were going to eat and get everybody on time. But at the same time, I didn't overpack things and make it, supersized. I was like, no, I'm going to take this a little bit easy. I'm going to try something different. I think the highlight for me, going with the simplicity, theme of it all, was actually going to not a very big restaurant. This was a little restaurant, and it was pure Italian. And I thought it was going to be just pastas and pizzas, but they had this very simple grilled fish with uh, some Italian tomato sauce and a little bit of chilies. And most people would say, but why would you want to eat that for your birthday? And I was like, no, I'm going to try something simple. I don't want something over the top. I want something simple. And it actually pleasantly surprised me. And through this whole simplistic term, what I realized is that sometimes keeping things in the most simplest of forms can be most enjoyable. We always want to look at, oh, how can I pack so much into one thing? And what I've realized that sometimes just removing some of the things and focusing on what you really want to do, like in my case, going to the Sphere, um, you know, was actually more enjoyable than trying to take in shows and go and look at the fountains and things like that. So I think for me, living through simplicity was a lesson that I had to learn, and it took me a little bit of a while, but it was really something that I'm going to start incorporating into my future, road trips and things that we take as a family. So, what made me feel love? So, m- so my highlight was what made me feel love. That reminded me that I'm still a child at heart. So, when we were in Vegas, I wanted a simple birthday meal at my favorite restaurants. Since we celebrated before my actual birthday, I really did not expect much from my family or from anything. I thought, hey, the spear is going to be fine. And I really wanted, to focus on just, you know, being together as a family and, going to the spear. But when we returned to our room, before we had to get ready for our dinner, I actually got a very colorful surprise. When I entered our room, I saw a bouquet of helium birthday balloons and a box of chocolates. To be honest, the last time I received balloons was years ago. So this took me totally by surprise and, of course, made me happy. Uh, my husband with the girls, they had arranged it. And it was something that I will keep close to my heart because usually you would think the big, glorious gifts is what make you happy. But what he does not know, and I'm sharing now, is that he made a very special memory for me that I will, keep in my heart because he made me feel like a little kid who gets a surprise on their birthday. And just getting balloons was something that was totally out of the blue. And the simplicity of it. Usually people think birthday balloons are only for little kids, but sometimes you receiving something that is a connection back to your childhood or something that can make you smile can make the day even so much better and actually brought a lot of joy into my heart. So I will forever remember that day and those feelings. We actually brought the balloons home and they lasted for about a week in my home office, which drove my youngest crazy because all she wanted to do was play with it until I finally relented and let her go ahead and play with it. But a mom sharing the whole balloon experience with a kid is something that can be stored in the life of memories that even she will remember as well. Now, if you recall what I said earlier, where, we were doing the simpler things on the trip and then that simple but meaningful gesture of birthday balloons, these were definitely my highlights and reflections on how simple can be better. So let's get to the low light. It seems like my family always gets into these weird, unique situations that come from left field. So on my actual birthday, we were at home. And I think life taught me a little lesson that I will never forget for a very long time. And that is what I learned through this whole experience. So when we returned back home, because it was, back to school, we couldn't really stay too long in Vegas with the kids. Um, and I wanted to make sure that we got home and the kids could get to school and I could get back to work. So with my husband, and usually when we go on short or long trips, we always shut the water off the house in order to have, no flooding. I mean, there's been some horror cases where people come home and the house is flooded. So we always try to avoid that. But this time, when we returned home, my husband went to go and open the main tap so that we could have water. We could, get ready for all of the activities that we needed to for school and work. And he came back with a sullen face stating the tap was broken. And I was like, what do you mean the tap is broken? And so he went on to explain that it had, just broken off and there was no way we could get water back into the house. He tried to call emergency plumbing, but everyone was booked. As you know, people have, troubles with plumbing and things. So obviously they were all booked out. Finally, late at night, we got someone out and he did not even have the parts. In addition to that, we needed to get pipes replaced. So for 24 hours, we did not have water. So you can imagine what that meant. Our basically bodily functions were impacted. I'll stop right there. We had to go out and buy 36 gallons of water so that we could at least do the things that when nature calls. And after going through those 24 hours of no water, we still had to do school, we still had to do work. You know, it really gave us a deeper appreciation for the times we live in and how blessed we are for all the advances we have. That water is so easily accessible as opening a tap. Until it breaks, and then you get back to the 18th century. So, what are the lessons I can share with you today? Well, over my birthday weekend, I learned a few simple but important lessons. Number one, detailed planning, even on a vacation, is great. But also just taking it easy and doing the simple activities like watching a VR show, and looking at it at how so much technology has been advanced. It's it's the simplest things of just sitting and enjoying something with your family that can be more rewarding than trying to go through to like three different places in 24 hours. The second thing is birthday gifts are awesome to receive, but the simple gift of balloons or chocolates can just be as joyful as getting a present that is gift wrapped. We all need to remember that the simpler times in life that gave us joy, and sometimes those connections can bring back good memories and actually leave new memories with that same basic feeling. And the third lesson is basic plumbing to get water is actually a blessing we all take for granted. Look at around the world. There are people that have to walk miles and miles for water and stand there and pump it. Because we live in such, you know, modernized areas, that we fail to realize that there are people out there that go through so much just to get that basic need of water. Water may be a simple need, but its impact of not having it is a millionfold. And I think for myself and for my family, we do now have a deeper appreciation. Not that we waste water or anything like that, but just the fact that by opening a tap, we could get hot and cold water, take our showers, and do what we need to do is such a blessing from the one above. And I think those simplest lessons that you go through is what helps you become a more thoughtful, empathetic, and a focused person on what's important in life. So, thank you everyone for listening. I thought of sharing my experiences over the last, 2 weeks, only because I feel like sometimes we always overcomplicate life, and just stripping down all of the layers and getting back to basics could bring us more joy than we ever expected. So, thank you everyone for listening to my reflection today. And remember to live, love, learn each blessed day on your journey in life. Thank you. I hope you all take care. And I hope each and every one of you have an amazing weekend and week ahead. Thank you and goodbye.